everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play Blades of Avernum. Last episode, the scouts happened to come back from scouting out for the beast. 2 of 3 came back. One of them, our healer of all people, happened to be killed by the beast, or most likely killed. The other 2 are wounded. They managed to get back, but they're in no shape to travel. After discussing it, Captain, Rowley, was it? Burden. My bad. Rowley's that guy. Captain Burden happened to decide we can't march up the mountains and we can't march back. We have to stay here for the night so they can recover. So we're going to do just that. Erasmus tends to his 2 patients, alternating his attention and healing efforts between Captain Ainsley and Jamie. He speaks to you as he does so.
Our friends will make it through the night. Tomorrow I'll reassess the situation. I think we can march if necessary.
What should we do tomorrow?
I would like to stay here for at least 2 days, and originally I'd hoped we could do so. However, Orin just told me that he feels a storm coming. I fear the Highlander's judgment must be taken as authoritative. He knows more about these mountains than any of us. Storms in the rim are like nothing experienced in the lowlands, even though it is summer. We'll have to find shelter tomorrow.
And how do you plan to do that?
It's apparent that this clearing is no place to weather a storm, but sadly I didn't notice any more suitable locations lower on the mountain during the day's march. Our best chance is to take shelter in a cave or against a cliff. I'm afraid this could mean that hiking higher into the mountains is really our best chance. I'll give Jamie or Ainsley some more time to regain their senses, and then I'll ask for more details about the terrain ahead. Maybe they spotted a possible shelter in the mountains above.
Okay. What do you think of the beast now?
Captain and Jamie and the captain's decision certainly paints a grim picture. Whatever the creature is, it was daring enough to attack 3 armed men and strong enough to overpower them. For now we need to concern ourselves with saving Jamie and Ainsley, and with finding shelter for tomorrow's storm. We will have another shot at the beast soon enough.
How are you treating Jamie and Captain Ainsley?
There isn't a whole lot I can do for hypothermia. Get the victims to a fire, strip off their wet clothes, and cover them with blankets. Orin gave them a brew that has had a remarkable effect in returning circulation to their limbs and dispelling frostbite in their extremities. I haven't had time to ask him the ingredients in it, but I'll do so at the first chance. It's done more for them than any of my lore. It's amazing the things that relatively unknown cultures are capable of. Advances like this are largely overlooked by the Empire, even though they are right under our noses.
What do you think about Ewet's death?
I got to know him during our journey from Easton. The first thing that struck me was his intelligence and passion for knowledge. He would listen to you so intently, sifting through every word for that nugget or tidbit of information. Our expedition has lost not only a good friend, but a valuable asset. His field knowledge of herbs and healing surpassed even mine. I believe I could fill in for him, but never replace him.
What about Rowley? Sir Rowley stands at the ready with both hands on his glaive. He stares intently down the trail leading into the mountains. Occasionally, he hesitantly takes a step forward, but always pulls himself back. He stands contemplating what to do and finally seems to come to a decision. He marches purposefully towards the trail. You call out to him just as he gets to the edge. Rowley turns back.
Well, as I thought, just a raccoon. Nothing to worry about, I'm on watch here.
He smiles sheepishly. You doubt he was marching off with weapon in hand to inspect a raccoon. What do you think we should be doing?
What we should be doing is pursuing our goal. In case you lot have forgotten, we were sent here to kill the beast of the rim, and hiding here isn't helping anything. I can't believe the golden opportunity we are squandering by sitting here. The beast is nearby and wounded no less. I've never come this close to completing my quest, but that Sergeant Burden won't break camp.
We have to wait until Ainsley and Jamie recover. Rowley throws up his hands in frustration.
How many times have I heard that tonight? I've seen worse cases of hypothermia. I've seen men with icicles in their lips who still march. They recover from it. This chance won't present itself again. We could wander in these mountains for weeks without picking up the beast's trail. We have to take this opportunity. Unless Captain Ainsley and Jamie have blue faces or black limbs, we need to march.
Why don't you go yourself, then? Rowley eyes the trail longingly, but shakes his head.
When I joined the expedition, I swore to Captain Ainsley that I'd obey his orders, and that extends to orders from his second-in-command. When I swore that oath, I never thought... Regardless, let it never be said that Sir Rowley is not a man of his word. I'll stay here if that's what Ainsley orders.
Rowley still watches the trail, clearly torn about whether he should head out. He doesn't seem in danger of bolting, especially now that somebody is watching him.
Needn't fear, Vincent. Sir Rowley is on watch here.
What do you think of the attack?
It should never have happened. A band of 3 men shouldn't be taken unawares. Lazy, careless, inattentive. I expected better from Jamie, and believe me, if Captain Ainsley had let me accompany the scouting party, this wouldn't have happened.
He is very arrogant. Sergeant Burden stands alone on the outskirts of camp, well away from the fire. The sun set hours ago, and what little heat it gave to this frozen land is long since gone. You don't know why somebody would willingly leave the pleasant bonfire. She turns to you. I'm not cut out for this, Vincent. I've never been one for decision-making. I wouldn't have even accepted this officer position if Ainsley hadn't practically thrust it upon me. He saw something in me, but hell if I know what it was. He thought a position as sergeant would bring whatever it was out. But this isn't for me. I can't decide men's fates. If Ainsley doesn't recover... No, he'll recover. He has to. You should have more confidence in yourself. It isn't a matter of confidence. I trust my training and my ability to make good choices. I'm just not comfortable giving orders. A man died tonight, and now it's on my shoulders. Which way I choose could decide the rest of our fates. I know what's the best safe option is, what the best way to go about carrying on our mission is, the best way to save as many lives as possible. The choice I make will put some lives on the line to preserve others. What is the correct choice? What is the troops' morale like? We've suffered a great loss. It is natural that men will be down. We will mourn for Elwood, but we can't let this destroy us. That will help nobody and can only lead to more casualties. I am particularly worried about fellow Unit 341 men who have known him the longest. You know, Fabian is taking it hard. He was always the first one to poke fun of Elwood and his studiousness, but he was as much a brother to him as any of us. The burst of energy you felt when Ainsley and Jamie first staggered into camp slowly fades away as the adrenaline that brought it leaves your body. You feel bone-tired. It's been a long day marching followed by the emotional shock of Edward's death. You want nothing more than to lay on your mat and forget the day's troubles. We've spoken to everyone. It's time to go to sleep. At first you lay awake, troubled by thoughts of the day. However, it doesn't take long for exhaustion to drag you to a troubled sleep. You dream that you stand on the peak of Mount Spire. The view is amazing. To the south are several snow-capped peaks, but none are tall enough to obstruct your view of the lowlands beyond. You can see for miles. The view, however, this is the last thing you are thinking about. Your hands are bound behind you around a great tree, an oak so wide your arms don't even wrap halfway around it, and so tall that when you look up you can't see its top. You struggle at your bonds, but to no avail. The woods are completely silent. Even the wolf howls have ceased. Terror seizes you. You don't know why, but the woods around you seem malevolent and horrible. You struggle even harder. Out of the corner of your eyes you can see the edge of the forest on either side of you. A scuffling sound comes from the woods. You crane your neck further and further in an attempt to see the source. Your heart races. A creature approaches. The beast, for that is what you named it in your heart even before you heard the noises from the forest, draws closer. You close your eyes and swallow hard, steeling yourself to confront your foe and meet its eyes before you die. Nothing could prepare you for the creature that stands before you. It is a huge hulk of rippling muscle, but all you see are its eyes. Fierce, fiery eyes that pierce you like blades. A mighty roar emits from its cavernous mouth, an echoing wail that rumbles in your stomach. It takes you a moment to realize that your voice is lifted in a blood-curdling scream. It is so dwarfed by the creature's howling. You are mercifully awoken by a pain in your ribs, accompanied by a familiar voice. Hey, am I going to have to stand here kicking you all day? Burden says to get your lazy ass up. Everybody else is already packed and on the road. Burden has made a decision, and it doesn't involve hiking across the river. The road to Amansul lies to the north. That is where your fellows are headed, and where you should follow. Amansul. Fabian stands at the foot of the path leading up into the mountains. He stamps his feet impatiently, but seems cheery. The pall that fell over your troop last night has been dispelled by the sunlight, or at least it's gone from your mind. You slept like a log, Vincent. I've been freezing my ass off while you're in your warm sleeping bag. Anyhow, the others are already on the road, and we should be following suit. They're probably waiting for us up ahead. Why did we break camp so suddenly? Oren says a storm is coming, real nasty from the way he described it, and that crazy bastard thinks it's warm right now. Well, we're climbing higher into the mountains to try to find cover. Apparently there's no suitable spot downhill. You'll have to ask Erasmus the details. He seems to be calling his shots right now. How are Jamie and Ainsley doing? Well, Jamie's recovering fairly rapidly. He's walking under his own power and doesn't look to be suffering any long-term effects save temporary weakness. Captain, however, is in a bad way. Oren was practically carrying him out of camp. I wouldn't expect to get too far traveling like this. We'd better find whatever shelter we can in a hurry. Let's hit the road. Gee, what a splendid idea, Vincent. I think I'm finally ready to get off my lazy butt and march. Okay, I'll stop giving you a hard time. Let's hurry to catch up with the others. We've wasted enough time. Alright. Right after I save. Alright, let's move on. You hike up the trail into the mountains, though calling it a trail is really being too generous. It's little more than a deer path, and often you have to leave the path to avoid a boulder or obstacle. It's a pleasant atmosphere. The wolf cries left with the darkness of night, as did to some extent the bitter cold. It's hard to believe a storm is brewing. Fabian speaks as you hike. We'll just stick to this path, Burden, and the rest can't be far ahead. Well, there they are. You don't need to be told that straying away from the group is a bad idea. You're unfamiliar with the area and could easily get lost, and if that weren't enough, there's a killer animal on the loose. You turn back. Ooh, I see some more herbs. Icicle moss, excellent. Fabian has removed his helmet to release some heat, but strangely enough, he rubs his shoulders absent-mindedly. A habit that was necessary the previous 2 frigid days, and now so ingrained that he does it when he's sweating. Miraculous that we got here only a few minutes late. I hope those extra minutes of sleep were worth leaving me standing in the snow. He grins to show he's joking, though it isn't really necessary for him to do so. You've known Fabian long enough to tell when he's kidding. It's no rare occurrence. Oren wears only a light tunic. The sun shines more brightly today than previously, but you'd still never dream to take off your coat. You half expect Oren to pull out a bottle of ice water. The cold just doesn't seem to get to him. He does, however, breathe rather heavily, or at least heavier than you've ever seen in a short march evoke from your well-conditioned friend. The strain of supporting Captain Ainsley must be wearing on the strapping Highlander. Nice weather, eh, Vincent? So good the sunshine, you mightn't see any for a while. It's always brightest before a storm, and trust me, there will be a storm. Captain Ainsley sits propped up against a snow-covered pine tree, too weak to stand. You aren't sure how he made it this far until you remember Fabian mentioned that Oren was practically carrying him. You'd love to talk with your commander, but Ainsley isn't in a situation to chat. You ask him what you're going to do next, and he points towards Erasmus, who is standing further up the road. This is Burden's show for now. It's hers and Erasmus's decision. Private Every smiles when he sees you approach. Aye, glad you made it. You were sleeping like a log. Everybody was already up and packed when we realized Sergeant Burden's wake-up call hadn't awoken you. Well, you got here just in time. I think we're moving on any minute now. Then well, I'm not sure what happens then. We'll try to find shelter, and I guess we'll pursue the beast when the storm passes. Somehow I doubt it'll be that simple, but okay. Jamie leans over with his hands on his knees. There's a steady stream of mist coming from his mouth. He's panting too hard to even speak. Still, he's standing on his own, which is a remarkable recovery. He's made it this far, but you don't think he'll be able to go much further. Private Every offers a shoulder to lean on nearby, but at least for now, Jamie stubbornly stands unaided. Adriana watches Jamie concernedly. When she sees you, she smiles grimly. What do you think of the beast now, Vincent? This is what it does. Kill everything you love. Even you have to acknowledge its existence now, huh? Her eyes are wild and her voice frenzied. You wonder if this sleepless night spent watching over Jamie has broke her. Jamie says something softly to her, which is apparently consolatory. I'm sorry for coming off so harsh, Vincent. I'm just tired of people I love being killed and injured by this creature. You know what's at stake now, why we must succeed. Let's make sure we do. Reading a book while hiking in the mountains is as good as asking for a broken neck. Even Erasmus is unwilling to attempt this feat, which is why he is making up for lost time by studying now that you've stopped. He glances up at the trail expectantly, and in doing so catches sight of you.
Vincent, good of you to wake up. Oh, I suppose you haven't heard of the end of it from Fabian. Sorry about that.
What are we waiting for?
For you. But while we were stopped, we figured we would take advantage of the time to scout ahead. Sergeant Burden wanted to inspect the area she'd been leading us through. Rowley accompanied her. The man was chomping at the bit to march ahead anyhow. Figured we'd put him to good use.
Where are we headed?
I talked with Jamie last night about what he saw while scouting up ahead. I think I've got my bearings now. You know, on that old map of mine. Up ahead is some craggy terrain called the Eladorn Pass, and further up should be Amansul. We're sure to find a cave or shelter in such a craggy and uneven area. We certainly couldn't have made it down to Manabor before the storm hits, not with Ainsley the way he is, and we do still have a mission to carry out if possible.
A call from somewhere above you causes everybody in the group's head to turn. You recognize it as Burden's voice even before you see her rounding the corner and coming into view, followed closely by Sir Rowley. Everybody gets up and shakes the cold from their legs. Meanwhile, Burden imparts what she found to Erasmus. You're close enough to hear. I didn't see any of the landmarks you told me to look for. At this, Erasmus begins shaking his head worriedly and mumbles something apologetic, but Burden cuts him off. Then no matter. We saw a cliff face that looked like a likely place to make camp. We had to turn back before we could inspect it closer because of some wolves. At this point, Sir Rowley breaks in.
Foolishness! Pure foolishness! No wolf will stand up to a man, and for good reason. An armed soldier could...
Please, Sir Rowley, I told you already why it would be a foolish idea. Erasmus, these wolves were larger and more aggressive than any wolf I've seen. I'd like to navigate around them, but, well, given the circumstances, we can't.
It is your decision. We can handle a group of wolves, I think, but it is good that you didn't attack them on your own. We'll go as a group to be cautious.
Yes, that is my decision. Burden turns to you and Sir Rowley. Go tell the men that we're moving out. Rowley marches away with a pleased look on his face, clearly glad to boss around the others. You begin to follow, but Burden stops you. Not you, Vincent. I want to talk to you. You cross over to speak with she and Erasmus. Sergeant Burden continues in a hushed tone that doesn't carry beyond your and Erasmus's ears. Vincent, I need somebody to scout ahead, and I think you're the best candidate. Jamie and Captain Ainsley are obviously of no use here. Orin is the only one strong enough to help Ainsley. Likewise, Adriana and Every are out of the question since they are helping Jamie. Rowley? Oh, well, frankly, the man is a loose cannon. I had to almost physically restrain him from charging after those wolves, and I don't trust him to range ahead again. I must stay here with him. I don't think he'll listen to anybody else. That leaves you, Fabian, and Erasmus as the only candidates. With no intention of offending you, Vincent and Fabian are better trained for battle and scouting. Erasmus nods his head at this last point, which was addressed to him. Burden nods. I'm glad you understand. Vincent, your assignment is to arrange ahead and clear a path for us. Go tell Fabian and get started. Erasmus and Burden stand in quiet conversation. When Burden sees you, she looks puzzled. Vincent, what are you doing? We don't have much time before the storm hits. We need you and Fabian to scout ahead for us. Get going. The others have gathered around Rowley to hear what Burden plans to do. Rowley is doing his best to drag his moment in the spotlight out as much as possible.
And then I said to Sergeant Burden, Sarge, that cliff looks like a good place to pitch camp, but...
A frustrated Adriana interrupts. Get to the point, man. Are we camping beneath the cliff or what? Rowley sighs and continues on in an exaggeratedly patient tone.
I was about to say how there was a family of wolves in the way. Now I remember I said to Burden, Surge, that wolf up there looks bigger than any I've ever seen. We should...
You turn away. Your job is to scout ahead with Fabian. You already know what Burden and Rowley found up ahead and are not eager to hear Rowley's embellished version. Fabian stands among the crowd that surrounds Sir Rowley. He stands just behind the range of Rowley's peripheral vision and mimics him with exaggerated gestures. When he sees you, he ceases his foolery to talk. Hey, Vincent, I saw you were talking with Burden. Do you have any idea what's going on here? Because frankly, I'm getting tired of waiting for that windbag to get to the point. Grab your stuff, we have to scout ahead. Fabian straps on his sword and scabbard and puts on his studded armor. Let's get moving. The sooner we sit down by a campfire, the better as far as I'm concerned. I didn't get to talk to anyone else, but oh well. Alright. I'm gonna keep my eye out for any herbs. Oh good, a skeleton. Ah, perfect! You notice that some of the berries on this holly bush are approaching the deep purple color that the berries achieve when they are fully ripe. It is these berries that are useful in brewing potion. It is unusual to find ripened berries at this time of year, but you aren't complaining. You pick a handful of the most mature berries. Oh, we only got one, didn't we? We got one icicle moss and 2 mountain hollies. We could make another rejuvenation potion. We'd make a rejuvenation potion and a healing poultice. That is very tempting. In fact, yes, I will. Make a healing potion. And a rejuvenation. There. Now we have plenty to keep alive. A howl that splits the sunny afternoon air is the only warning you have. The only thing that affords you the time for you and Fabian to draw your swords before the pack of wolves is upon you. The wolves lunge down from the steep wall above you, and only from the dense forest that out from the dense forest that surrounds you. You see now why Burden was hesitant to approach these animals. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Fabian sheathes his sword as the last wolf falls. He surveys the carnage and whistles. Whoever heard of wolves attacking humans in broad daylight? And look at the size of this sucker! This thing is practically a horse! He's exaggerating, of course, but the wolf in question is big, larger than any timber wolf. However, the whole pack is lean to the point of malnourishment. You'd be willing to bet that's why they attacked, but Erasmus could offer a more informed opinion. Hold on. I want to see if... Feral Warg. Oh, the cold is beginning to get to you. I heard that's what could happen. The longer we're out here, we end up slowed and taking bits of damage. Hey, more icicle moss. A pack of wolves approaches you warily. Hunger burns behind their eyes and is apparent in their gaunt legs. The worst off have ribs showing beneath their pelts. Rowley's theory about dwindling deer population contributing to the beast's attacks could be the cause here as well. However, you don't have much time to ponder before the attack. Alright, you need to drink this drink the healing poultice. That is not as much as I hoped. Alright. That does actually... Okay, interesting. That actually does some regeneration. I didn't expect that. Well, we've got a river here. Some damage. We need to drink this rejuvenation elixir. Heal myself. Ooh, that's an herb. The trunk of this pine tree is withered and sickly. All its needles have fallen off, leaving it completely barren. Dead pine trees aren't an uncommon occurrence, but sickly trees are a bit different. You approach to inspect it. As you suspected, this tree isn't dying of natural causes. Climbing up the tree is a creeping vine with long, needle-like tendrils burrowed into the bark of the tree. Strangleweed. You aren't exactly sure where this vine got its name, from the choking effect it has on its host trees, or the same effect it has on humans who consume it. Regardless, you pluck a strand of the potent herb and wrap it in cloth, careful not to get any resin on your skin. Strangleweed. That's something we need for choking dust or a frost grenade. Not that I'm likely to use them, but you know me. Looks like that's all we can go there. I I see more wolves. It's interesting that we can explore out here a bit. I knew a bit of damage is going to come there. You are very cold. You are beginning to grow weary. Looks like that's as far as... Oh, no. We can still go this way. That's as far as we can go. Alright. The only other way we can go... Your limbs are growing numb. You are growing tired. Alright, I see wolves ahead. We're going to deal with them in the next episode, because this one has gone on long enough. Okay, we're seeing more of what we're going to encounter in this place. But that will be dealt with eventually. Next episode, we'll deal with these wolves. Hungry, malnourished, and desperate. That'll be in the next episode. So until then, I'm Chester44. That is Vincent. This has been a Blades of Avernum Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.